Welcome back to Grappling in Thought. Today we're going to talk about what to do in that moment when your gut drops, tension builds, your heart starts racing, and panic sets in. That moment when life shifts unexpectedly and suddenly, you weren't ready for it. And if you don't catch yourself, you start overthinking, creating a story, and spiraling. We're going to talk about how in that moment you can shift your view of the situation so we don't go into overthinking and story creating and spiraling, which usually ends up being that you turn on yourself because the first story we tell is usually a crap one. And that's where it usually leads if we don't catch ourselves, which it leads to the overthinking and storytelling because it's our nervous system and our mind's way of trying to take control back and make that uncertainty feel a little more safe. So there's a reason behind it, but it overdoes it. Our brain overdoes it because it's still on the tiger's chasing me. And we don't have it. It doesn't recognize that that's not the case anymore. And so it overreacts. But if we catch ourselves and you use these tools, you don't have to go there. You can pause, you can adjust the way you see something so you don't spiral, so you don't get stuck on that one story that ends up being you being the bad guy, you being in the wrong, something's wrong with you. And that's why this thing happened. And I'm talking about mental flexibility. Part of mental flexibility is the ability to adjust how we see something and adapt to change. And I'm going to talk about how to do it in the moment so we don't jump to overthinking and storytelling and spiraling. Because when we do that, the world shrinks. The world shrinks and it becomes very much a stuck feeling because we're focused on one story. And a lot of times it's one of the worst case scenario type stories, or it's we're in the wrong, something's wrong with us, we did something wrong. But we get stuck on one story and that's all we can see. It's almost like we have tunnel vision on this one story that's the end of the world, worst case scenario, I suck, and everybody's mad at me. That's all we see. And we can't get out of that when we don't have flexible thinking. It's really hard to get out of that. But when you learn flexible thinking, it gives you that space to respond instead of react. The reacting is the emotional brain, and it happens. That's the immediate feeling you get. Something happens, you text someone, they don't respond, immediately you get an emotion and your brain reacts to it. And that's where you start overthinking it and the story creating comes in. And then a little later, the logical brain comes in, and that's when you would respond. I think of it as the emotional brain. That's the first one. That's the reaction. And then a couple hours later, you start thinking about it more, and the logical brain thinks about it. And then you are like, oh yeah, maybe I did overreact there. Maybe I was a little bit much. That's the logical brain. It had time to think about it. And so it's just being able to catch yourself in the emotional brain mode when emotions kick in and you want to react, when it reacts, brain reacts. Catch yourself, take a breath. Okay, logical brain, give me something. Step in here. And literally that's what you can do. Find the friend within you. Talk to yourself, talk to the friend within, and say, okay, logical brain, step in for me. Step up. Come on. What else could be going on here? Because that's what it's about. Flexible thinking is about giving space to just the idea that there might be other possibilities and to not get stuck on the one story that usually is you turning against yourself. It's just giving other possibilities. Flexible thinking is not, and sometimes people can think that flexible thinking is this, but it's not. Flexible thinking is not you not caring about anything, letting things slide, biting your tongue, or ignoring what happened. That's not what it is at all. It's just giving your mind space to see other things might be happening. It might not be what you initially thought. Because sometimes when my dad will call, or when I call my dad or text him and he doesn't respond, I will do this. I will jump to something's wrong, something happened, he's hurt, something's going on, because he's retired and he always has his phone on him. And I will have that immediate emotional reaction. And I have to catch myself, take a deep breath, and I literally ask myself with genuine curiosity. I talk to the friend within. Okay, what else could be happening here? What else could he be doing? Okay, maybe he jumped in the shower. Maybe he went to church. Maybe he's talking to somebody else on the other line. Maybe he ran upstairs. Maybe he's feeding the dogs. Maybe he stepped outside. Maybe he went to go get the mail. Maybe he had to go out to his car. So I start asking myself, what else could be true here? 100% of the time, it's something like that. Or he's taking a nap. Or went to the bathroom. And then I can breathe. And here's what literally happens when I do that. As I keep asking myself, what else could be going on here? What else could be happening? As I'm coming up with other possibilities, I can literally feel myself relaxing. I'm not so tense. Oh my God, something happened. We need to he's hurt. He needs help. And when I start saying, what else could be going on? I relax. I can feel myself relaxing and easing. And that really is the skill. You literally, something happens and you catch yourself in that, starting to create a story. You want to react. You feel your brain reacting. You're starting to spiral. Catch yourself. Recognize it. It's always number one. Take a deep breath. Go inside. Go talk to the friend within. Give me 2 other possibilities of what could be happening here. So you recognize the story that you're starting to tell yourself, and then you say, what else could be true? Give me 2 other stories. And you can literally talk to your logical brain. All right, logical brain, step up here. What are 2 other possibilities that could be going on right now? And be genuinely curious about it. And it'll give you 2. And recognize what happens. You'll feel yourself starting to, okay, all right, that could be true. That could be true. And then of the 3, because you have your initial one and then 2 more, and maybe even more, your logical brain may step up and say, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. And then take of them, which one is the most steady? The one that steadies you the most, prevents you from spiraling, doesn't have to be the happiest, the most perfect one, just the one that, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The one that steadies you and calms you and just prevents that spiral, stops the spiral. And hold on to that one. Choose that one. So I'm going to end with saying life is always going to throw something at you unexpectedly. Suddenly, you're not ready for it. Or sometimes you are and it's still shocking. Just try that. Catch yourself, take a deep breath, and go inward and ask yourself, what's 2 other possibilities that could be happening here? And just be genuinely curious, take some deep breaths, and see what that does for you. Let me know in the comments if you try it or what you think about it. And until next week, keep looking forward. Thanks, guys.